It is time now for our series On the Money, focusing on building up our savings with the cost of staples like eggs soaring and tariffs expected to make everyday items more expensive for many Americans. Squeezing out a few extra bucks to save is obviously difficult, but here to help us is CNBC senior personal finance correspondent Sharon Epperson. Sharon, we love when you're here. It makes our wallets a little safer than they were before you arrived, if you can. Walk us through this. You say this is a good time to sort of retool your budget. How do you start that process?
Well, you start that process by looking at your expenses and reevaluating what you need. A lot of folks right now are saying, we're going to cut out the non-essentials. We're going to focus on what we really have to live every day. And doing that, whether you're doing a no-buy challenge or you're just looking at your budget and figuring out where you can cut, is important.
Right.
Comparison shopping is also key. If you're online and you're looking at price comparison tool or you're getting alerts for when prices drop, that's great. But this is a time with, again, prices rising perhaps due to tariffs. You're going to be looking at maybe secondhand goods, refurbished goods, buying locally, things that can help you save money there. And then the impulse buys that some people still...
Got to cut those out.
You got to cut them out, but also don't stockpile or hoard things because you're afraid they're going to go up if you can't afford it.
Right.
You want to make sure that what's in your budget is something that you can afford, but you want to be knowledgeable that there may be some what ifs, and that is where a buffer comes into your budget. It's important to have a little bit of a cushion. You don't want to budget to zero for every expense. You do want to make sure you have money for every expense, but if something goes up, do you have a little cushion?
So walk me through that buffer quickly. That's not like a rainy day or emergency fund. That's a little different.
That's a little different. That's an extra $100, $200. Some financial advisors say maybe 5% of your monthly expenses that you have as part of what you're budgeting every month, so that you have the money if prices go up or if there's some unexpected expense there. Not the same as your emergency fund, which is covering if something major happens and you're out of work for a period of time or there's some major house project that you need to do. There you need 6 months saving or more.
Laura's got more for you.
Say you want to give your savings a little boost, right? You're now prepared to make that commitment. Where do you get the best bang for your buck?
Well, it's important to refocus how you're saving right now. A lot of people put their saving on autopilot. They put their saving on autopilot into a retirement fund. That's not something you can get a hold of easily. So you want to start by putting money and making sure you have that emergency fund, that flexibility with your dollars in a high yield savings account. You can get as much as 4% as a top rate for a high yield savings account, much more than you can at a bank. And then you might want to think about, where do I put my retirement dollars? If you can contribute to a Roth IRA, that's up to $7,000 that you can put in a Roth IRA this year. And that money...
What's the difference between these two?
Well, the contributions you put into a Roth IRA is money that you can take out at any time. In your 401k, when you put that money in, of course you want to put it into the matching contribution to get that free money from your employer, but that's money you can't really touch.
You're not taking that out because of bad taxes. Exactly. Okay, move on down the line to Dylan.
Yes, Sharon, you have a lot of debt. Do you pay down the debt, or do you save money?
People need to look at the interest rate. What is the interest rate on the debt that you have if you're paying 20% or more on a credit card versus what is the interest you're getting on your investments or your savings? And so it's important to really tackle paying down that debt. You want to start by asking the creditor perhaps for a lower interest rate. Going, if you have a credit card that is at 20%, see if you can get a 0% balance transfer card or a lower interest card to put that on to help you pay that down. And then a lot of people are struggling with their student loan debt. And there's a new ability for people to get money from their employer to save for savings while they're paying down their student debt. It's called the Student Loan 401k Match Program. And so the money that you put into your repaying your student loans, your company may then put a matching contribution into your 401k without
free
you
money.
putting
Take it.
without you putting any money into that 401k. You're paying down your student debt.
So let's talk about retirement. Folks ready for retirement. If you realize I don't have enough, can you still catch up?
You can definitely still catch up. It's important as you're getting closer to retirement to think about what your savings is going to look like in terms of the tax hit on it. What are the tax implications? A lot of people don't realize that if they're putting a lot of money pre-tax in a 401k, that's great. You get an upfront tax break. But then that money is taxed when you take it out at your income tax rate at that time. If you put it in a Roth 401k, that is after tax money. And that means the money that you have in that account is yours. When you take it out, it's not taxed. And so you may want to split the difference and have some money in both to kind of lessen that tax hit. If you're close to retirement, there are catch-up contributions you can do. You can put an extra $1,000 into an IRA, extra $700, $7,500 $100 into a 401k this year, and even more if you're in your early 60s. So there are ways to catch up. But again, the focus is making sure that you're saving for today and tomorrow as well.
Okay.
Sharon Epperson, always on the money. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Great tips.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.